Hello and welcome to Life Rhythms, Tarot, Food, and Spirit. I'm here offering a video response to Ethony's hashtag 31 Days of Tarot. And I'm bundling days 15 to I think about day 23 together, and hoping that I will be succinct enough so that this video isn't too unwieldy. So beginning with day 15, we're asked, do you have a deck for personal use only? Why or why not? So I do have a deck that has become for personal use, and a bit by default, not design, and that is the Dream Dust Shamanic Tarot. And this was created by Sue Kovacs. And the reason that the deck has become for personal use is really just by, I think, the way the deck was gifted to me from a dear friend who knows the artist, and it came to me really out of nowhere. The deck was not on my radar at all, and the images just hit me and wash over me in a very, very personal and impactful way that is something that I just keep close to myself and for myself, or perhaps just sharing if I'm doing something on an Instagram feed, or if I decide to use it for Monday Mojo or something like that. And it's really funny that the Empress turned out because this is the card I am going to attempt to draw for my favorite card in the deck. Perhaps I should do this image because it would probably be simpler than the one I have in my head. But yeah, her use of the colors denoted to each of the suits. Let's see. Yeah, they're not almost. Each suit represented the way I'm pulling it. These reds and oranges for fire, the greens and browns for earth. Not that it's anything new, but just the wash of the colors, wind, just these deep purples and blacks, and let's see if I can find, and the sea. These really melancholic blues. For me, they're very melancholic for some reason, and these hits of greenish yellow in them. The deck is wow, it's so funny. I'm just getting the picking the seven of Earth here, and just kind of noticing that this is a container for the orbs of Earth, and that's the thing about this deck, is there's just so draws me into a dreamlike state. So I feel like if I were using it to read with people, I might become more absorbed in the images myself, which is just maybe an extraneous reason, but that probably wouldn't happen. But this is a deck that I keep for myself. And then just two other decks that as I this year committed to work more and understand more about working with PIP decks. I don't imagine that this La Corde de Tarot will be one that I will use to read for others. This deck feels very ancestral to me somehow, so that deck is one for myself. And then oddly enough, I'm also feeling that as I dive more into the Ophidia Rosa, which is one that I've just used for myself personally so far, and I'm really feeling that this is, at least for now, a deck that's very personal for my own explorations. And so those would be my three decks that would fall into that category. Tarot-wise, and then it just hit me as I was setting up for this that also the Weaver's Oracle these are cards that I journey with very deeply, and for now, for this time being, this is an oracle deck that I use personally, and very shamanically, if you will. So again, a deck that really connects me to ancestral energy. So that's definitely a private deck, reading wise. So page 16 asks, do you read reversals? Why or why not? I don't really read reversals in any kind of technical way. For me, I look at the expanse of the spread, and what's happening around cards that may have come out in a reversed position. And to me, that would indicate the overall tenor of what a card being reversed might, if it might indicate something more specifically. That being said, if I'm reading, just doing a one card pull, or if a card kind of jumps out reversed, then that will usually hit me a little bit more, like notice me. But in the context of a spread, I really generally will take the advice of everything that's that it's in relationship to, rather than reading it as a strict reversal. So day 17. Oh, okay, here we are. Draw, paint, or sketch a favorite card and talk about it while doing so. So I don't know if the original question, I apologize, said your favorite card of all times or a favorite card. I don't know if I shorthanded that too much while I was typing it out. But a favorite card, and a card that is, in a way, in some ways, aspirational for me, and it is the Empress. And I have, this is the Marielle depiction of the Empress, and then this had come out, just come to the top on its own, the Dream Dust depiction of the Empress. And this card is a bit of a walking alongside me card. It appears very frequently for me. It always has. And I would say that, in a way, I feel her sister card is the High Priestess, and that card is much more of a familiar to me. I feel like I walk the path of the High Priestess much more in my life, and the way my life has unfolded. But the Empress is a card that, when she appears, I am reminded to exhale, which it's a funny thing, being having been a body worker and movement therapist, among other things in my life, that I need to be reminded to exhale, but I'm absolutely human. So here I am talking and not drawing, and so we're going to do some sort of depiction of this Empress. And Ethony, I have to say, this is a quite a beautiful and challenging query that you've put forth, because gosh, that to draw and talk at the same time, you really, and I just pulled pencils that I had right near me. Oh, this is going to be an abomination. Please forgive me, Empress, please forgive me. This dress is not blue at all. I actually have pulled out, just for my own defense, some depictions of the Empress that I've drawn over the years. Maybe a way to reinforce that she is with me. I don't even know why I'm making any attempt to do anything actually realistic pictorial-wise. It's funny. So, yeah. So she is lush. She is Mother Earth. She is the woman in a way that I aspire to. I don't know if it's that I aspire to be her, but have this energy flow through my life, and it does in many ways. I will say, through my work with food and caring for people and nurturing people, through that type of work. But it's also, so in some ways it's very native to me to stand in that position, but it's also very challenging at the same time. Like last night I could have used some real generous and compassionate Empress energy. I was dealing with something, an interaction with someone, that person that was delivering something to me, and I'm reliant right now in my life on others in a way that I've never had to be before. I've always been very sovereign and taking care of myself, my own needs and the needs of others, so in a way very Empress in that way. And so the exhale part of the Empress, that the part that also allows Earth to then give back to you and to others, to kind of luxuriate in some receiving quality, is challenging for me, very challenging for me. And when things don't maybe necessarily go in a flowing and orderly way, which is very much all the planets that reside in Virgo in my chart, I can become very fierce. And I had a very difficult interaction with someone last night, and it was not pleasant. And had I had the Empress with me a little bit more, I might have been able to stand outside. And my thought is that I might have been able to stand outside the interaction and have maybe more compassion for this person rather than reaction. And so she is both kind of the fierce, protective mother, caring for the earth and the cycles of the earth, and caring for and protective of them. But she also understands, I think, my thought of the Empress is that she's very giving in her and forgiving. And I'm not going to attempt to do much else here with her, but because I'll just rattle on and on. But that compassion, forgiveness, attending to the cycles of the earth, caring for the earth so that there's a giving and then also a receiving back from the earth. So 3 minutes of rattling. Here's something I did. I don't know when. Oh, this is back in September. Another kind of Empress image.